Hey guys, welcome back to our latest video. Today we're going to do a 2024 recap of all the events, all the things we've been up to inside our community to give you an insight into what we get up to across the whole of the year.
It's been a pretty big year and we want to be able to share that with you and show the amazing things that go on inside the Every Move Academy.
So we'll kick things off with our first training day of the year. We actually do these every quarter, but we obviously start the year strong with a big group meetup. So new members of the Academy can actually meet each other, and people who've had a bit of a break over Christmas can actually be reunited and have a big session together. So yeah, we actually had 25 at the first one.
Yeah, that was big at the start of this year, and that was at a gym in Trafford. And yeah, it was even 30 people, wasn't it? Close to
25 to 30 people. And what was quite nice is we had a lot of new people who joined in our January intake. So they were obviously new to the academy. They've never done anything with us before. They've not met the community, but it's always a nice icebreaker. So then when they're in the online experience, they recognise names, they recognise faces, and it just helps form friendships. We always split the sessions into 3 parts. We start with a strengths part, then we might do a bit of a teach or a bit of a skill, and then we do a team workout, pairs, big team, that kind of thing. So it all finishes with a nice sweat, an opportunity for people to work together, because quite often a lot of our clients will train in a gym on their own and they don't have that experience with being in a team or working together, training with like-minded people. So it's quite nice to create that team environment. And yeah, we've got people who are brand new to CrossFit, have just started running, or have been doing functional style training for a long time. It's always quite nice to see different abilities or different starting points getting together and doing a big team workout together, because there's never any separation there, and it's obviously just like-minded people.
the community side of things massive for us, and ultimately we definitely pride ourselves on being one of the market leaders for community building and bringing people together. And it was a transition we made in November 22, potentially, first training day. Being to be completely transparent, being an online academy and online coaching service, building a community becomes much more difficult than when you have a gym and you're brick and mortar and you've got people coming through the door every single day. But we didn't want that to be an excuse. We wanted to still create this environment and community togetherness in an online setting. And what that means is getting people together in those training days, in our competition days, which we're going to take you through what that looked like over the whole year, which was plenty of events. But it really was about then bringing that environment together, where we found, obviously we've got people in America, Australia, Dubai. It's going to be difficult to bring those people together in that face-to-face setting. So what then has led from the face-to-face stuff, being able to actually bring that into an online community in our private groups that we have. And actually, it's amazing to see even the people in America saying how much they still feel part of a community and togetherness, even though they're not necessarily able to come to those in-person events.
And I mean, we do in-person events, but we also do virtual stuff, which we're going to share with you a bit later on. But yeah, January we kick-started with a massive training day, which was nice because all the new members felt like the ice was broken, they were welcomed in and they felt comfortable. And I think it just opened their eyes for what they could actually then achieve for that first part of the year. We then moved on into February and we actually competed in our first High Rocks, which was a big thing. Obviously, a lot of our members as well, they were working towards High Rocks too, but for us, it was our first one. We've been training for it for a while, so we did Manchester. And if you've watched our other videos, you already know that it didn't go to plan as much as we wanted it to.
What happened?
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know if people have this opinion, but you might see people online and think, oh yeah, they're absolutely smashing their training, they're going to do amazingly well, but it doesn't always work out on the day, and it definitely didn't for us. I think a combination of previous injuries for Alex and just a bit of strategy throughout the race, beginners, bad luck maybe.
Yeah, but I think what's crazy about that whole experience is that we've, not to be big-headed, but we do have a lot of competition experience. By January High Rocks, I can't even tell you how many competitions we've done before that point. So like we should be in a better place to control what then happened, and we didn't. So it just shows that like it doesn't matter what you say to yourself beforehand, you don't know what's going to happen on the day.
Yeah. And some things are out of your control, but I think
Sending the ski hug was definitely inside of our control.
yeah, that's where it all went wrong, basically. But yeah, we live and learn. But that was our first one, which was obviously quite nice. And then we
had how many? We had Danny, Joel, Abby.
I think we had 5
Yeah, there was
clients,
a lot of
5
people.
clients doing it as well.
Over the weekend, like either doing solos, mixed pairs, doubles. And what's really cool is those people that were doing like Danny and Joel, for example, that did same-sex pairs, like men's open, they come from the academy. They didn't know each other beforehand, but they've paired up and then gone for this race together. And that, again, that is a huge sense of pride that Sarah and I have when we see those people forming together, knowing that actually if it wasn't for the EMA, that would have never actually happened, is ultimately why we do what we do.
And then at the end of February, we took a team to the Winter Turf Games Festival. We had a team of 6 there, which actually was really nice because every single one in that team had met each other again from being on our coaching program, and they were a really tight-knit team. They'd all trained together before because they'd come to training days or they'd been to events, and they knew their strengths and weaknesses. So it was actually really nice to coach them through that experience because they knew who was going to be stronger there and who was going to be faster there, so they could actually work together as a team. But again, that was an opportunity that they probably wouldn't have had if they hadn't have been in our coaching program. And I think if you speak to any of them now, they would say that that opportunity is something that they wouldn't just get if they didn't have our program. So yeah, we love going to those events with them because we've helped form those friendships, but they're still asking us for advice, strategy, how they can tackle each workout in the best way and ultimately try and do better than they did last time.
Yeah, and then we also, on a personal basis, we went to Strength and Depth, which is the biggest CrossFit team event in the UK. In terms of big teams, so teams of 12, 7 guys, 5 girls, and the whole kind of gist with it is that you're putting your best 12 people in that CrossFit box towards the competition. The caveat is that you need to be at the CrossFit box. So unfortunately, it's not something we could probably ever do as an EMA thing, but you need people to be a member of that box, and then that's the community team that goes through. But it's absolute different levels. Everything is the highest possible skill you can do. Heavy bloody weights, and it's like a full weekend. I quite like weekend competitions because you have the Saturday, and you are sore, but you wake up on the Sunday and you still got that little bit. Sometimes you need to have a few coffees to get going, but it's quite fun having that extra day to it as well. And also there's a swimming workout, and I flipping love swimming, so
like a fish out of water, basically.
Yeah, I just wish every CrossFit workout had swim in it because I do really well.
There's a majority of people like me who wishes that there aren't some events in there. But yeah, Sid was a really fun one, and like Alex said, it's a proper weekend away. We had to go all the way down to Bath. Obviously we were up in Manchester, so it's a good 4-hour drive. And again, big on community. We're there with there's a team of 12 of us plus a few friends, partners and stuff, so it's always a good fun sociable weekend. Then when we got into March, we actually had our second training day of the year. And what was nice, the new starters that had started in January, they'd just about done their first 12 weeks. So it was nice to see their progressions from, how they felt and their ability at that first training day into then that second one. And again, there was rekindled friendships of same faces, people recognizing each other from the first one. And we also had probably our furthest...
Kurt's come from Amsterdam before.
True, actually, yeah. We had quite a few people travel up from London. Again, we're in Manchester, so it's probably 4-hour drive or 2-3 hours on the train. So we do have people who commit quite a lot to come because we make it a worthwhile session. Like, it's not just we're going to do an hour's workout and then you're done. We have the gym for a good 3 hours. We're not pushing people to do a 3-hour workout, because obviously everyone would leave absolutely knackered. But we try and fill it with some education, some team building, and just make it worthwhile. So it's quite nice to see a lot of them travel for that.
I think as well what's really nice is that you see people who have probably that first time they were very nervous to come, didn't necessarily think they were fit enough to come. And it definitely happens with like someone who's quite new into the EMA, because they're thinking like, right, well, I need to get through a certain amount of training cycles before I'm ready for this like training day. And everything we do is infinitely scalable. So there's always something where we can write a program and it can be applied to someone who can do heavy, high skill, and they're really very fit. But you can also taper that down to like, what is the regression to that? And the way that we create those environments is very much of like a togetherness. It's not an eagerness. It's not a place of ego. It really is about bringing those people together. So when those people do come, and it's certainly putting themselves out of their comfort zones, but of course, when you do that, that's actually going to allow you to grow in your life. Those people that are like, I can't wait to come to the next one, but they've also got that like 12 weeks between them both, where actually then you see that fitness improvement in them as well. And then they're going to feel better after that next one, and they want to come to the next one. And it's just this really cool journey through just the training days as like people's target zones, to be like, right, I'm going to see people that were there at the last one, and I want to make sure I'm fitter so that those other people are also seeing me. And it's really cool.
Then we got into April, and if you follow us already on Instagram or on socials, you'll know that we do fitness retreats. So April and October are our fitness retreat months, and we are obviously in Rhodes. Before this one though, Alex and I did our first half marathon, which if you'd asked us maybe like a year ago, neither of us would have been like, yeah, we're fine with 10.
Well, actually, no, a year ago we might have been already signing up to it, but a year and a half ago.
Yeah, 18 months ago, we'd have been like, nah, 10k is far enough, we're happy with that. But
I remember running Manchester 10k, I reckon it was 2020.
Yeah.
No, it was before that. It maybe 2022. And at the time, I just finished a like 2.5 year surplus. Basically, I came out of lockdown and just went absolutely hard on trying to get as strong as possible and as big as possible with a lot of food. And my fitness had got to that point where it started to suffer, because I really got to like an uncomfortable state. When we then signed up for that Manchester 10k, I was Billy Big Bollocks, and I was like, I don't need to run for it. I want to see if I'm just fit enough to like turn up on the day. It's really easy to underestimate actually still how far a 10k race is. I think Instagram and social media and all these people's accounts have absolutely like ski-whiffed all the like understanding of running races. People are like, oh, sub 3 hour marathon. And then so someone thinks that because they can't run a 60-minute 10k, they're a failure. And it's like, that's still such a great achievement. And I probably got myself into that. And it was one of the hardest 50 minutes of my entire life. Possibly because the first K I went out far too hot and I ran a PB 1k, but that's a different story. I can't remember where I was going.
There's a theme here, isn't there? Like when we high rock skier.
But I remember coming back down, like you basically come back round Old Trafford and then you run down straight towards the Hilton. And I remember coming there and it's got like the signs that says like how much of the 10k you've got left, or like how much of the half marathon you've got left, because the half, I think you just did another loop of it or something, didn't you? Yeah. And I remember looking at that sign thinking, what idiot would be running a half marathon right now? Like, this is horrendous. How the hell could you go and do this plus another k at the end? No chance. So yeah,
he suffered. But yeah, we did our first half marathon, which was a big thing for us.
It wasn't a suffering. That was a far more pleasurable experience.
You enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed all of it up until about the 16k mark, and then I don't know why, I just found it really hard. I feel the the course was a bit of an annoying one. You kind of went out, back, and then out.
It was like
back.
a donkey. It was like a horseshoe.
Or like a figure of eight
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I just remember like turning the court, like we'd done the first side of the 8 and we were coming back, and I could see the other people running this way as we were running this way. And I was thinking, when are we going to be turning around? Like, this road is very long and very straight and along the coast, beautiful coastline, but when are we ever going to be turning around? And I think that just really got in my head, like when it starts to get hard and you don't know when you're going to be turning back, that got really hard.
That turn seemed to go on for a long, like before you realise you're about to turn around and come back again.
Yeah,
That did
and
go
it was
on for a
getting
while.
hot, and yeah, first race, but we got our target time, which was good. And we also had, what was it, about 8 or 9 of us?
Yeah, there was like 8 or 9 people that were doing their April retreat that then did that with us. So there was me, Andrew and Sarah, and then
Amy, Kurt, Dan, Tim, Killian. That's 5.
yeah, that was it.
6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good at numbers. But yeah, some of them are EMA members who've also then come on the retreats, and then some of them are obviously new people on the retreat. So it was always quite nice. And obviously we did that a couple of days before the retreat, and then the retreat started. So it was just a nice week in Greece. We had like a day in between to kind of just chill, set up a little bit, and then the retreat started. But how many retreats have we done now? I think
so this April I think will be the 10th.
will be the 10th. We've obviously been to the same hotel, done the same or similar structure of a retreat for nearly 10 times, and I honestly look forward to those 2 weeks of the year every year, because it's such a good, I can't even describe it. Like, the facilities are amazing, the friendships that are built on that retreat are honestly incredible to watch, and the vibes you have on the last night where everyone's obviously like have totally come out of their shell and they've had an amazing experience is honestly unmatched. And we have people who have been on probably like 4, 5, even 6 of the retreats, because they just
Lou's
keep coming
been to
back.
8 of 9.
8 of 9, there you go. And you know, they're not doing the same workouts every time, they're not doing exactly the same thing, but they come back for that little bit of, you know, change up, but ultimately it's because they enjoy the friendships that they make, the whole experience. The hotel is beautiful, but they know that they're going to get a good mix of fitness, obviously bettering themselves and being active, but also some downtime to relax, sunbathe and unwind on a holiday too. So yeah, I'm really lucky that we get to do it, to be honest.
It's a cool week in the sun coaching.
Yeah. Go to fitnessretreat.com.
Yeah, if you are wanting to get yourself booked onto April, it's only £149 deposit, which is a steal if you ask me. And it is, I can't remember, so I'm not going to say about it. But if you go in the link in the description, you'll be able to click onto our website, have a look about things, get a full picture of what the week really does look like. You might click on it and you think, this seems too good to be true. What's the catch? There isn't one. You're going to have the best week of your life. So get yourself booked onto it.
There's lots of testimonials on there as well. So if you actually want to hear from people other than us, then there's lots of videos that you can watch to see what people...
If you go on Google Reviews and try and find a 1-star review, you'll be looking for a very long time, because they're all 5.
Then when we got to May, we had 2 teams competing at a competition called CrossFest. So we actually went down to London for this. This was our first time doing CrossFest with the EMA.
Yeah, well, doing a competition like us two in a team with clients.
Yeah. We had a scale team and an RX team. So it was quite nice for some of our members who have obviously been in the program a while or had progressed up to give them the exposure to do an RX competition. Obviously Alex and I did it with them. It was teams of 6. So yeah, we had quite a few. There was Abby, Joel and Lauren, and that was their first time doing an RX competition. So but yeah, it was quite nice to them to have that step up opportunity, but also feel like, you know, they've got the support there. And we had 4 people, 4 4 people do their first competition there as well in the scaled one. So again, it was a nice opportunity for people to set themselves a bit of a longer term goal, something to work towards, but then have that nice team environment on the day so they didn't feel super pressured by it.
Then as we move into June, we had a huge day at Turf Games Summer Festival, which the biggest we've ever taken clients to a community or client competition event. So we had 3 teams of 6, 2 in the scaled and 1 in the intermediate team, which was their first time doing a CrossFit intermediate, but a really good like level up and step up. But as Sarah was just saying about the guys and girls from CrossFest, there was a good handful of people in the scale teams. It was their first time doing a competition, and certainly from our experience, having that team dynamic makes the whole thing a far better experience, especially if it's your like first competition, because it takes the pressure off a little bit because you know that you've got your other teammates around you, and what that then does is create a little bit more of a comfort blanket as such. You're still going to be putting yourself out of your comfort zone. You're still going to feel like probably quite nervous as you step onto the competition floor, but as soon as that time goes, you're going to feel pretty good for it, and at that point in time you're just in it and you're in the moment. But it's always really, really cool, and that particular day having 3 teams down there and just everybody like kitted out with Every Move Academy on the t-shirt, like fit for purpose on the back, that EMA mantra and lifestyle that we live, and seeing so many of them around on the like competition floor was really cool, and certainly like one of my proudest days as a coach. And seeing that Turf Games is like probably one of the biggest competitions globally, you'd say,
for functional fitness.
Like on a global scale, like Turf Games is up there.
Yeah, I mean they have them in Dubai, Australia, everywhere,
and they're huge. They have so many competitors every time, and even little things like when actually this was at the Winter Festival, but still it's quite a cool story. It's like they had a rowing workout and it had the team names, and just seeing like Every Move Academy on that board with like this huge like competition is a really cool feeling.
And then at the end of June, I don't know why, but I decided it'd be a great idea to run the Midnight Sun Marathon in Norway. One of my friends was like, do you want to do it with me? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, sign me up, sounds good. Just done a half marathon in Rhodes, what could go wrong? And I thought it'd also be a great idea to put it into our community group and see, you know what, EMA abroad, let's see if we can get anyone interested in that. And of course we did have people interested. So there was actually 5 of us. Yeah, 5 of us that actually ended up going to Norway and I did the half marathon, and then a couple of other guys did the full marathon at midnight. Definitely one of the most challenging things I've done, because I obviously had to run it on my own this time. I didn't have you with me. I did after Bruno. Yeah, you were dog sitting. But I did call Alex. I think I got to about 8k, and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to call you so you can distract me for a little bit. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Such a surreal experience because it never goes dark in Norway at that time of year. So literally like daylight at midnight, no darkness whatsoever. So the weirdest thing was we'd like finished the event, all walked back to the apartment, and it was like it is now, like light outside. So trying to get to sleep after you've just ran a half or a full marathon and then it being in the light was hard, but it's a pretty cool experience and definitely a bucket list thing to do. And I think we've got plenty of people in our community now who are into running and that kind of thing who would be interested in doing that. So we probably will do more events like that next year.
Maybe not the Norway one though.
Yeah, maybe not the midnight one.
It was a bit carnage to get to.
It was hard to get to, and also waiting around all day knowing you've got a half or a full marathon at midnight is like mentally tough. But yeah, it was a really good experience.
And then as we move into July, we had our third training day of the year, and we wanted to do something a little bit different this day, to just make it more memorable for everybody that was coming. So we actually did a collaboration with the Movement and Wellbeing Clinic, which is an osteo. They do everything now. Actually, they've like massage therapy, sports massage, and basically everything in between. Then with osteo and injury prevention, injury rehab. But we did a collaboration with those guys where they came down to the event and gave a talk all about some common areas of injury, and ultimately like not necessarily rehab stuff, more like the prehab stuff. So the thing that you're going to be doing that actually prevents, you can never eliminate injury or like say that you're creating an iron body that's never going to get injured, but you can certainly do the best possible to hopefully prevent those injuries coming, or if they do, they're not as much of a detriment to you. So they did a really cool talk about loads of exercises, strength exercises in that regard, which was really, really good. And then we did our like regular training day. We did a good session, good workout. And then we also did
Post-workout food?
Yeah, we did a post-workout bowls with Bondi Bowls, which is a local company here, which is like healthy takeaway bowls. So like chicken boxes, rice boxes, they do vegan and everything in between from that as well, but just really, really easy and nutritional valued food, which was great as well to end the day off. Mm-hmm. Everyone sat around a circle like little school children.
But again, I think it's quite nice because when you've actually done a workout, rather than just leaving the gym and going home, actually sitting and talking to the people you've just done a workout with is actually quite nice. And again, more friendships are formed that way. So yeah, that was pretty cool. At the end of July, we made a trip to Belfast. It was actually our second trip to Belfast this year, but it was with our mentorship program, and we were actually asked to speak on a panel, which was a pretty cool opportunity. Basically just to talk to the room about how much we've developed as a coaching business and how much we've grown our community. And one of the things they asked us to speak about is how to help other fitness entrepreneurs, how to help them create a better community. Because like Alex said before, I think we pride ourselves as we are leaders with that. Like our community is honestly unmatched. And yeah, it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone, sitting in front of a room of people and like being interviewed and being asked to talk about yourself. I think that's actually quite hard. But yeah, it was quite nice to just kind of pinpoint that halfway through the year of like how much we have developed for our clients, how many changes we've made, how many advances we'd already made to the program, and how much of an impact we were actually having on the community in general. So I think that was a bit of a celebratory point for us, and also like a realization that we give them a lot and we do a lot from a community perspective, and people are actually asking us for advice on that. So it's pretty nice.
Then as we move into August, following on from that, we then have now expanded and started at expanding our team of coaches, and how that feels and looks like for huge growth with the EMA, and ultimately like the vision that we have, where we want to go, the impact that we want to be able to have. We can't do that just the two of us, and we want to make the experience for everybody inside of our community the best in the world. And there's only so many things that we also can give and we also know about, right? So actually bringing in other people who are more expertise in certain areas of field. So Megan is a dietitian and running coach. So like we have lots of experience in building people up towards marathons and half marathons and like nutritional fueling for all those events, but actually then having someone who's got those like genuine qualifications behind her, experience in her own way. She's also a High Rocks Worlds competitor. She's going again this year. She's doing High Rocks' left, right and centre. So really, really good position to build a lot of impact and drive, more value for the clients in that regard. And then Tiago is really, really cool. And what's awesome with him is he's come through the EMA journey. He was a client inside the community for a good 2 years, and he's then made that transition into coaching role. and now into coaching role in the EMA, and what that means for him really understanding where people are at, how to build people through their problems and giving them that best solution, but really having that like empathy and understanding to what particular impact they're having in their current journey. And like those two are absolutely just crushing it, and it's really cool for us. Like, I think we were probably like this time last year, maybe a little bit before that, we felt like we were at our own threshold and limits, but there's always a huge sense of fear probably of us opening up to building out team and having more people on board, because the EMA is our baby that we've created and put so much of our life and soul into, so that we can have the impact that we can have. So letting other people through that door was this difficult feeling. But again, knowing that where we wanted to take the EMA and how we're going to be able to build it into the impactful community around the world, we need to do what we've done. So it's been a really, really cool transition, and everybody inside is absolutely loving what's going on. So it's really cool.
It's just added so much more value to what we already had. I think the biggest takeaway we've had from this year is that you can't be, a master of everything. Like, you are going to be in a better position if you can have experts in certain fields, and you can't always just keep catering for everyone at maximum capacity all the time, because quality of service will drop. So having, specialists in certain areas has just enhanced the experience for our clients. And we spent a long time making sure we'd hired the right people, and we've had nothing but positive feedback from them. And what's been quite nice as well is now we're in December, we're talking back now, but some of the clients have already met Tiago. They're going to be meeting Megan in January for our first training day. So the actual interaction is there. They've met these people. They're not just names behind a screen, which is really, really nice. Moving into September, we had another busy month of competitions. We actually did a charity event called Battle of Cancer. So this was a team of 4, and the idea was they had a challenge, so they had to complete as many reps as possible, and as a team, I think it was like an hour workout, an hour and a half workout. It was a long workout. They had to work together as many reps as possible, and then the money they raised as well also added onto their score. So obviously the more money you raise, the higher a score you're going to get on the leaderboard. But that was in London. Again, that was, all of them had already done a competition together. They'd done turf games.
Yes,
Yeah, they'd all done turf games together, so it was actually quite nice for them to see each other again. Not all of them had all been on the same team, so they'd been aware of each other, but not actually worked together before. But it was quite nice for them to have that catch up again, another in-person thing. And yeah, they smashed that, didn't they? They worked really well. There was a lot of synchro stuff they had to do together. Obviously, they'd worked together before, so that was quite nice to see. But that was a good event.
Yeah, you can definitely see when someone's competition experience is shining through, even if it's just one, just the confidence that you're going to have going into the next one. It really does. It does show. And like, definitely what we've said as well, like it's the same as like you look at a football team or anything like that. Like, you need leaders in those moments and in those teams, because when people are like starting to suffer or starting to like taper down or like fall away because they're tired, that's when you need those leaders to step up more. And some people can shy away because maybe they've not done a competition before, they don't know the people, so they don't want to be that person that's kind of like, don't worry. But having even just one person who's like, you're tight, right, okay, this person will go, or right, we're going to do 5 reps and then drop the bar. It's really cool to see even that journey for people, knowing that they came in and went through that first day, were that quiet person, and then they go into that second, third or fourth competition, and then they're the one that's like, no, come on, let's do it. Like, it's you need those people.
Yeah, and I think that showed again in another competition we did, which was CrossFest, and
Next
that was
day.
Yeah, we did. Saturday we were down in London for Battle Cancer, and then we went back up to Manchester for CrossFest. We had 2 teams of 6 at CrossFest, and yeah, it was another really, really good day, wasn't it? CrossFest is a manic one. They have it, it's like a festival, so it's like CrossFit, functional fitness, and then really loud music, party vibes. But that was quite nice, and you probably noticed this as well, but in a lot of the functional fitness events, you have what's called a worm, which is basically a big sandbag. And when people who have never done that before, 9 times out of 10, they struggle with it at first, because when have you ever been in a situation where you've had to work with a team to move this 80 to 100 kilo sandbag? But what was quite nice at CrossFest is, because a lot of them had done competitions before, there were still a couple that hadn't, but because the ones who had done one before, they were, like Alex was saying, they were taking that leadership role, and they were telling, their teammates, oh, do this, we need to work together to be able to move it and things. So it was quite nice to see that, and they probably did their best in that element of the workout, I would say, at CrossFest because of that experience. So yeah, that was quite a nice roundup. And then we also had a virtual 10K. So obviously we have clients who are in America, Australia, all over the world, which unfortunately they might not have the opportunity to come to our in-person events. So we do virtual events as well. Not just runs, we do competitions and stuff like that. But the virtual 10K was really, really nice because we had people like all over doing the 10K. I think, did we do like a Thursday? We just picked a day and said, within these 24-hour time frame, we want to see you have completed a 10K, whether it's a walk, whether it's a run. We want to see your Stravas, we want to see your sweaty selfies, we want to see you've completed that. And we had so many people doing it. It was really, really nice. Had a lot of people who said, because I think on the day actually where we were, it rained. We had a lot of people saying like, oh, you know what, if I didn't have this challenge, I definitely wouldn't have gone out for that run. But they still shared their sweaty selfies, they still got involved, which was really nice. So yeah, I think it's quite nice that we can still celebrate, people getting involved in something that's fitness related, something that's challenging, that's not always about fat loss or, food. It's just a feeling of being fit and doing something challenging. So yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. And it just got people involved everywhere, which was nice.
Yeah, the people who did it in the rain were pretty jealous of the people who were running in the sun, but what can you do?
Then as we moved into October, we had our biggest urban fitness retreat to date with 26 people. Now, our capacity is 24, but we sold out the spaces so fast that then we had people literally knocking at the door being like, oh, I really wanted to come, I'm not. And we were like, right, okay, maybe we can push for a couple of more. So we went for it, and actually it worked out fine. But yeah, that was huge. Usually we get 20 plus anyway, so it wasn't like a crazy difference, but just overselling it was a really cool feeling. And as I said before, next time is going to be our 10th one. This time was the 9th. So next time will be a really cool milestone to Stephanie say that we've done 10 fitness retreats. Then as well, we had High Rocks Birmingham, which was definitely a redemption for Sarah and I, working a lot on the mistakes that we had done from the previous race. And that's just quick fixes, really. That wasn't necessarily anything that we needed to fix from a training protocol. It was just like, don't do this on the day, don't do that on the day. And then just our running experience definitely showed through more. Just with Sarah did the Norway half, we both did the Rhodes half. We've both kept up that long running capacity as well. We've done more running just on top of it from January to now. So we were definitely in a better position for that. The race results definitely reflected that, but we also had 4 clients taking part. Danny, who took part and PB'd in men's doubles open. And the day before, he competed in AFEX with Joel again, who was the person that he did the original High Rocks with. And then we had Laura and Steph.
Steph had done a High Rocks before, Laura had never done one before, but they wanted to do a doubles. So I paired them together based on them having similar running paces and similar abilities. So it was quite nice that obviously they'd not, without being on the program, they were never met before, but they were both following a similar structured program because they both wanted to do a high rocks at some point. So actually pairing them together worked out really nicely because we just discussed their strengths and weaknesses, and they got to do their doubles race together. And then we also had Joy. Again, she joined the program probably in about March or April with the sole intention that one of her biggest goals was to be able to do high rocks. So obviously Birmingham was October. Yeah, so she had a good 6 months of that was her main focus. She wanted to lose body fat and she wanted to get in shape as well, but that was her key driver for motivation. So it was quite nice to see. You know, she actually said to me she didn't want to tell me what time she wanted to get it under, but actually running the race, she got it. She did it way faster than she actually expected, and it felt easier. So she's actually booked Barcelona next year. She's got the bug for it now. But yeah, it was quite nice to see all of them, like, you know, all their training and all the hard work pay off.
And then we also had Tash and Chris do the Chicago Marathon, which both of them had obviously trained insanely hard for. And Chris had done, I think, 4 marathons before that, so got good race experience. However, he'd never achieved a sub 4 hour, and that was the big goal for him when he came on board. He ultimately wanted to trim up and feel good about his body, but the carryover was also making sure then he hit that 4 hour sub marathon, of which he did by 5 or 6 minutes. So absolutely smashed through that, which was really cool and a big lifetime achievement for him because, as I said, he's run a few marathons before and that was always the time he wanted, but he was never able to get. So that was definitely a good feeling for him.
And then in November, to round off the year, we had High Rocks Manchester. Again, we had 3 members that managed to get tickets for that because they literally went like that, didn't they? It was a case of, oh, Manchester tickets are coming out. Oh, you need to get them now. We had loads of people, which was it was a bit sad, really. They didn't manage to get tickets. But we had 3 people who did. Danny raced again. He did a good doubles time. Tash did her first one. She did it with a friend. And they ran a really good race. She was really worried about the sleds, but that didn't hold her back. And then Harriet as well. She was a fairly new member into the academy. She ran a doubles, and that was a PB doubles for her as well. So yeah, it was a good one for a community weekend.
We also had people doing High Rocks Dublin. So Megan, our coach, did mixed pairs, of which they broke the 60-minute marker, which was really cool, coming second. And then she did female relay the following day, which they won. Then we also had Nelson doing High Rocks Dublin. That was his first ever High Rocks race, of which the goal was sub 90 minutes, of which he hit by 3 or 4 minutes. So really, really chuffed with that. But as Sarah's mentioned about Joy, he's definitely going to be pushing for more in the future. Then we also had Mike doing High Rocks Chicago, which he absolutely smashed in 1:09 win men's open pairs. He felt really, really good. And actually he said he definitely felt he could have pushed even harder and pushed even more. But he was someone who he's in epic shape and absolutely smashes his training, and it showed on the race day, and he will absolutely be doing more in the future. He's even got his eyes set on wanting to do a singles pro, so there's definitely scope for him to do that because he's got the capacity for it. But again, it just shows how we've got people literally all over the world doing these awesome events and awesome things, and it helps when you've got stuff like High Rocks and Turf Games.
Community event of the year, we had our final training day, so it was our 4th one. Again, we tried to make it a little bit different, so it's not just the same thing every time. We did a ski and row workshop at this one. Obviously, we've got a lot of people who are into High Rocks, and it's a big popular thing at the moment, and obviously our clients train on their own. So breaking down skill and efficiency and strategy on machines like that is super important. So we focused on that. We also did some Olympic lifting, which for a lot of our clients, it was a brand new thing for them. And it was quite nice for the total new beginners to actually feel supported in that room, that they actually have that one-to-one coaching experience. Obviously, we have people on the program who do Olympic lifting in their program, and that was an opportunity for them to PB or improve their technique. But we had a wide range of abilities in one room, but it just gave them that experience to have that one-to-one coaching element. Obviously, Alex and I can walk around the room, we can correct people's form, we can give them tips, and then we also finished with a really big team workout and some post-workout shake.
And then as we move into the last month of the year, last December, where actually there's not too much going on this month, which will be the first month of the year, we're actually winding down and letting clients just appreciate what they've achieved over the year and consolidating that, understanding what they want to work on going into 2025. Goal setting for us is huge, and it should be for you listening to this as well. Like when you have something to work for, it's going to give you so much more direction and planning and process and everything from that. But it's going to be huge for your why. When you have days where you're like, I can't be bothered, or days there work's been really busy, or you get some shit news in your life, that why is the thing that's going to enable you to keep pushing and keep going. And when you achieve a goal, you need to set a newer and bigger one, because you'll feel then content, and you'll start then, if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards. So you always need to have something new that you're pushing for. And it's a similar aspect of if you achieve something, it now becomes a new normal. That thing that you put on a pedestal and you said to yourself you'd be really proud of achieving, when you then achieve that, you're now not, over time, you won't be as proud of yourself for doing that. So you need to set that new goal, a new level, and there really is no end game. So understanding what you've done and be proud of yourself for achieving that, but making sure then you have the focus to go forward from, which is what we've set for everyone going into January 2025.
Yeah. So this month is all about planning, reflecting, and ultimately shaping up what they want, or what all our clients want next year to look like. Obviously, we've got a lot of client events coming up in the calendar. We've got people signed up to them already. We've got waiting lists or interest lists for events that the tickets haven't come out yet, but we want to get teams together for. So yeah, we try and build that excitement, let them know what's coming up, and set them up so they've got something as a long-term goal to work towards, that isn't just always about fat loss or exercising to lose weight. It's something to challenge themselves. So yeah, we've got lots of events coming up next year. We've got turf games, we've got Rainhill, which is an individual CrossFit competition. We've got an event called Level 7, which is a little bit like High Rocks. Obviously, there's loads of High Rocks events. We're going to be doing our first training day the first weekend of February, and we'll obviously have four more of those throughout the year. We'll do more charity events. We're hoping to do some more hikes next year if the weather's good. So yeah, we've got lots of exciting things coming up in the calendar next year, which, if you're watching this video and you go, actually, I quite like the sound of what you guys are doing, then you can definitely get involved and be supported in that environment too. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. We've definitely done a lot this year, and it's been quite nice just to recap it and reflect on, what we've helped people achieve. But yeah, drop us a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.